influential musician. Welcome to class today. Music is life, as we know, is also food for the soul. Today we're going to be looking at the topic notes and values. Notes and values. It is with the help of notes we can sing music correctly and appropriately. So today we'll be looking at the notes and also the value of these notes that we sing with in music. But firstly, let's look at the parts of notes. A note comprises of 3 parts. How many parts? 3 parts. And these parts are the note head, the stem, and the flag. Not all notes have a stem, and not all notes have flags. We're going to be referring to flag, and also we can call it tail. But in this lesson today, we are going to be using flag and not tail. So once again, 3 parts of a note. They are note head, stem, and flag. And not all notes have stems and flag. In music, we can say that a note is a symbol denoting a musical sound. It is the length or duration of a sound. That's what the note is. So it is a symbol that denotes a musical sound. Notes can also be referred to as that which represents the pitch and duration of a sound. Yes, that's why I say it is the length. Length, it is the duration. How long do you play or sing a particular sound? It all depends on the notes that you are singing or playing with. Notes are also the building blocks of much written music. That's why we can have it in a scale, which we say that a scale is a sequence of notes known as degrees. They are known as what? Degrees that provides the raw material for a piece of music. When we sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, so, for, mi, re, do. We just use the notes that are 1 beat each to climb up and to come down from low pitch to high pitch. As we go on, we are going to get it more clearly on what we mean. Now, let's look at types of musical notes you need to know. We are going to be looking at 6 of them. That's what we're going to be treating or talking about today in this class. We have more notes, but we want to talk about just 6 of them. The British calls it the semi-brief, but the Americans, they call it the whole note. So I'm going to be using more of the American names today than the British. But I want you to know it so that when you see these notes or the names, you should be able to know that it's either called this or this. So semi-brief, number 1, is also known as whole note. Number 2, meaning is also known as half note. 3, crotchet is also known as quarter note. Then we have the quaver. Quaver is also known as the 8th note. We have the semiquaver, which is also known as the 16th note. Then the last one for today, we have the demi-semiquaver, which is also known as the 32nd note. We're going to be looking at this note one after the other now because we want to treat the value. Now, what is the value of a meaning? What is the value of a semi-brief? What is the value of an 8th note? That's what we want to look at right away. First here we have the whole note, number 1. The whole note is also the semi-brief, and this one has 4 counts or 4 beats. You count it and hold it for 4 beats. You don't count 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see the 2, 3, 4 is counted either in your heart or in your thoughts. You don't count it out, so you give the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how you count it. The next note is a meaning, or we call it a half note. Half note has 2 beats or 2 counts. 2 of these half notes will give you 1 whole note. How many half notes can you find in 1 whole note? 2, because it has 2 beats or 2 counts. And this you count 2. 1, 1. So the stronger beat stays on the first hit and the weak beat is the one you count in your half. So we have the half note which has 2 beats and the whole note that has 4 beats. The next note that we have is the quarter note. The quarter note is also known as the quaver, and it has 1 count or 1 beat. You can have 4 of these beats in 1 whole note. 1, you count straight up. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You count it continuously. All right. Then the next note we have is the 8th note. How many counts does the 8th note have? It has half a count. You are counting crotchet or quarter note as. You count this one as. You see that? So it's half. 2 of these 8 notes will give you 1 quarter note. 2 quarter notes will give you 1 half note. Why? 2 half notes will give you 1 whole note. Don't forget. And the last note we're going to be looking at now is the 16th note. The 16th note is a quarter beat. Now we counted as half. Is it not so? So this time now you do. So it's a quarter beat. Now 2 of this quarter beat is going to give you, 2 of this 16th note is going to give you 1 quarter beat. Then the last one is the 32nd note, which is also known as the semiquaver. It is 1/8. That's how you call it, 1/8. Why is when you call it 1/4? Now it's the 1/8, 1/8 beat. The counts are so fast. As it gets to these ones that have flags, the count becomes faster than the one that doesn't have flags. Now, when we looked at the quarter note, you can find out that it has, the 8th note has 1 flag. The 16th note has 2 flags, while the 32nd note has 3 flags. As it goes faster, the flags increases. So the 6 notes that we have looked at today in this class, they are whole note, half note, quarter note, 8th note, 16th note, and 32nd notes. All right, we're going to be watching a video right away, and this video will teach you how to write notes as well as stem placement. When we say stem placement, how do you put these stems? Is it to the right or to the left? So the video is going to be showing us how we are supposed to write these notes, and we are going to be looking at it from whole notes down. So I will need you to sit down, concentrate more, because when I get back from this class, I'm going to be asking you what you learned also from the next video. I'll be right back.
Okay, so now we know what the different time or note values look like. The next thing is to learn how to write them. All our note values have what's called a note head. So let's start there. Draw an ever so slightly squashed circle on a line or in a space like this. Your note head has to be just big enough to fill a space or sit clearly on a line. If you make your note heads too big or too small, they are just confusing to read. Okay, so if you can do that, you can draw a semibreve. Now, if you want to draw a minim, you just draw a note head and add a stem. If you write a note with a stem below the middle line, the stem goes up on the right of the note head. On the other hand, if you write a note with a stem above the middle line, the stem goes down on the left of the note head, like this. And if you're writing one of these notes on the middle line, you can go up or down with your stem. Whatever you like, it's up to you. Okay, so now we can draw minims and we can get the stems going in the right direction. Well, crotchets are just minims filled in, so that's really easy. Just draw your minim and then fill it in, and hey presto, it's a crotchet. So the next note value is the quaver. First, draw a note head, fill it in, then add a stem, and finally add a tail. Sometimes this is called a flag, but we'll call it a tail. The tail always goes on the right. It doesn't matter if the stem is up or down, tails on the right, please. Okay, that's quavers done. And as you might have guessed, semiquavers have 2 tails. And demi-semiquavers have 3. And hemi-demi-semiquavers, if you ever need to write them, that is, have 4. Well, that's more or less it, but before we finish, there is just one important thing left to look at, and that is how you write groups of quavers and semiquavers. The whole point of grouping is to make music easier to read. For example, how many lines can you see here? It's tricky, isn't it? But if I write the lines in groups of 5, then suddenly it's a lot easier to count them. Well, that's the idea behind musical grouping. We're going to look at this in more detail later, but here are a few simple rules to start you off. Instead of writing a pair of quavers or semiquavers like this, each with a separate tail, we can join them up with a single beam. Another very common grouping is to join quavers and semiquavers in bundles of 4, like so. You can also beam different note values together. For example, here are some possible groupings of quavers and semiquavers joined together with a beam. As we said, the idea behind grouping is to make written music simpler to read and play. The clearer music is on the page, the easier it is to play. So, now, not only do we know our note values, but we also know how to write them clearly. The right-sized note head on the line or in the space, the stems going the right way, tails on the right-hand side, and beams for groups of quavers and semiquavers.
Welcome back. In our class today, from the video, we saw that we need to always know the right size of note heads to draw, and also that flags are always to the right, no matter if the note goes up or where down. Also, we looked at stems, that stems on the notes before line 3 goes up, stems on the note after line 3 comes down, while stems on the note on line 3 goes either up or down. So also we looked at grouping, and we said that grouping of notes is to make music simple and clear, which aids easy singing and playing. This grouping of notes is referred to as what we call beaming, and notes beamed are from quaver or 8 notes. Every note that has a flag can be beamed, and we beam them together or we group them together so your musical work will be clear, easy to play, and easy to sing. We also now will be looking at the note tree. We said that the semi-brief, which is the whole note, can give you 2 meaning. You can have 4 quarter notes from 2 meaning. You can have 8 notes, which is also quaver notes from 4 crotchets. Then you can also have 16th notes, or you call it 16 demi-semi-quaver. You can get it from 8 quaver notes. I want you to answer this question for me before you take your quiz. How many parts of notes do we have? And the flags do you put on the note, the stems? Where are they always positioned at? So take your quiz and make sure you do very well. I want to say thank you for being a part of this class today. Don't forget to go through your work correctly and make sure you get everything absolutely done. I'll be seeing you in your next class. But for now, stay loved, be good, kisses and love, and I say goodbye.